Yeah, the idea is manipulation. It's like, yeah, everything's manipulative. That's the approach you got to take. It's not manipulation is bad. It's that everything is manipulative. So it's really not about bad or good. That's a feminized way of looking at it anyway, which, we'll get into that topic later. It's more about who benefits from this manipulation, who doesn't benefit. And making sure you're not in the who doesn't benefit category is really all that matters. Doesn't matter, like, she can benefit from it, she can not benefit from it. Depends who you're talking to, as long as you're not benefiting. And that was, again, I took the lead from that, from Whisper's old thing about debate is dead. It's probably, out of all the content that's not Rollo's content, it's Rollo's favorite red-pilled content, where he was talking about the difference between red pill and blue pill when it came to argument. Debate is dead. There's been a couple points on it. The first one was like, debate doesn't exist as a classical debate, modern debate, or postmodern debate. We're in like a postmodern debate situation where whoever has the more followers and the more rabid fan base wins any argument. So you'll lose, but it's not because you're wrong. So leveraging off of that, it's like, why can we never have discussions or like this whole thing? Don't conversate with your wife. Don't converse with your wife. Why? It's because she's just using it to manipulate you. And it's the same thing here when it comes to like arguing with people online or arguing with people offline or trying to red pill your fucking friends like an idiot. No offense to you, but it was stupid. I watch your vids 100%. Well, thank you, Saxon. I appreciate it, sir. You keep watching, I'll keep creating. Oh, where was I going with this? The thing. And the idea, and he kind of broke it down into like an autistic level of detail, which is kind of what we do here. The idea of a subjective versus an objective concept of truth. Guys, for the most part, and this codes for men and women, but they use the blue pill, red pill reference in here. Ideally, guys assume there is one truth, like one set of facts, factual objectivists, one set of facts, and truth is whichever things get closer to that. If we're saying something that's more true, and what do we mean by truth? Truth means predictability. If something is true, then it will always be true. Therefore, you can base your decisions around that, knowing that this is the case. Knowledge. Women, on the other hand, have a very subjective idea of truth. My facts, my truth, that shit there. The idea that truth to the feminine brain is a codified set of personal experiences. Literally solipsism. Nothing exists outside of your head. Guys at the same time when it comes to morality, have a subjective view of morality. There's no ultimate good, there's no ultimate bad. True morality is not some 0 to 100 life bar. You're somewhere on that bar, but everybody's on that bar. No. For guys, it's more like things can be good for some people and bad for other people. Things are good, things are bad. And that's how you frame it. It's good for these people, bad for these people, good for everybody. Yeah. Women, other way around. They're factual objectivists. No, there's one morality. That's it. And again, that ties into the whole like truth, my truth, codified truth. And so when you get into these arguments and conversations and discussions and debates, the one side is having an argument over how do I find the selection of facts that is the most true. And the other side is arguing about status. How do I get the proper status over top of this person so that I can dictate that singular level of morality? So it's not only that you can't even agree on the same things, you can't even agree what the conversation's about, because there's a couple outcomes of that. The guy, I don't care if you're, whatever, I don't care if you're a criminal, as long as you're right. Like, I don't care about the person, I care about the things. Meanwhile, on the other side of the equation, it's always about who are you? Who's the more moral person? And that's why if you notice, whenever girls argue and bicker, even on reality TV or in life in your social circles or at the Oprah Book Club or whatever, they're always arguing about which one of them is the better person and who's more of a victim. Because that's all they're trying to do is establish who's the top of the fuck pile. Because as soon as that person's there, they get to dictate what's moral and what's immoral. And everybody underneath is trying to get them to it. It's called the crab bucket. So why do you need a vision? Because you don't want to be swept up in all this nonsense. You don't want to be swept up in imagine trying to have a status game against a woman whose entire genetic predisposition is for jockeying for position in a status game. You can't beat that. Not without the legal right to suplex somebody into submission. And I'm pretty sure you're not going to get that. So it's like, yeah, no. So I just refuse to play it. It's like, look at him. Bitching about this, what you should be doing. What's a real man this? What's a real man that? What's the best answer to give? Okay, sure. Whatever you say, lady. And you do what you want anyway. She feels heard, but you just refuse to acknowledge her reality because her reality is subjective. Yours is true. At the very least, even if it is just as subjective, because Like, what's the other one Rolla says? We're all feminists, so if we're all going to be feminists anyway, you might as well lean into it. If I'm going to be feminist and do subjective truth and objective morality, I'm at very least going to pick a subjective truth that works out for me and an objective morality that works out for me. Why wouldn't I? Why would I pick something that makes me out to be the villain? No, this is good. I don't mind being an asshole. Asshole works great. What are you doing later? Come on over. We'll talk about it. Null, €10 super chat. If you put myself first and you succeed, everyone will criticize you and everybody will want to be you. Yeah, I could see that. And that's the thing too, right? Like, when you play other people's games, other people get to decide the rules. It's Calvin Ball. What's that law of power? Nothing. You'll actually have a harder time with a friend than an enemy. Like, if a friend owes you a favor, they tend to resent you for that if they owe you one. But an enemy, you can always appeal to their better judgment or their interests or whatever. A lot of people. Rollo was like a perfect example of that for years. You help somebody out, get them out of their shitty marriage, their shitty business, and what do? Because now they're indebted to you. They fucking hate you for it. I hate owing people favors that I definitely deserves. And no wonder where all institutions tend to collapse when more women's truth enters them. Yeah. Well, that's a different thing, but yeah, I agree. The dynamic there is when you have an all-male space, men tend to organize based on a competence hierarchy. I'm going to use some Peterson language here. Here's my tentpole. Peterson. Who is the best at whatever this group is, right? We're a hunting lodge. Who's the best hunter? He is. All right, well, he kind of tends to rise up the ranks. He tends to be the guy in charge of the hunting, who's control the safety thing, and then generally people fall into line based on the level of, like, loosely based on how good they are at hunting or organizing hunting or training hunting, that sort of thing, right? Everybody has their purpose and everything is good and everybody's in lockstep. They are all geared towards who's the best hunter. Everything they do is based on who's good hunting. You add a single woman in that space, no matter how well intentioned, and it usually is well intentioned. I don't want to make it think it's some girl sitting in there rubbing her hands together like the small hat meme, but and they get in there. And this is the part that I love when everybody's like, oh yeah, women ruin male spaces. Women don't ruin them. Women are the lightning rod for thirsty men to ruin them. And I think that's a nuance that matters. So the one girl gets in there and I don't know, I'm just picking a number out of my ass. I don't know what it is. 20% of those men now change their MO from being the best hunter in the hunter group to impressing the one girl in that hunter group. And that change of vision. Oh, the one woman in the space. So then those guys try to make it about impressing the woman, and that now you have like split focus, and that causes conflict, that causes rift. Somebody does something that will affect the hunting group negatively, but it'll impress the girl, pisses off the other guys. And nothing is worse than if one of those thirsty guys is near the top of that hierarchy too, because that can really ruin things. Like, that's the pro-Jared thing where he's finally at the top of the pro-Jared fuck pile, and he's like, I'm gonna sect some 18-year-olds on Discord. Yeah. And everybody's all mad at him for it. It's like, yeah, he kind of ruined his thing, but whatever. So one's bad enough. And then you add a second one. And what happens now is the girls have now switched their focus from impressing the guys to fighting amongst each other. And so it'll be a case where each one of them is fighting for that 20% of guys that wants to impress the women. How many of these guys can I get onto my team? And the girls will fight ruthlessly over it until somebody calls out the girls for, like, unit cohesion. Stop this, you're ruining the group. Then the two girls team up to excise that guy. And I saw it. There's examples in the military of it for sure. I still think of that electronic chick we picked up on our deployment. About half of our crew got sick, lame, and lazy, caught some NATO knee and rim back situations or accidental pregnancies. So we had to pick up half the crew from Algonquin, and they were a shit show. Like, there was this one Quebec girl, she was Navy hot, which, if you don't know what that means, it's like when they say a Midwestern 9, New York 6. And she ended up sleeping, she was an electrician, she ended up sleeping with her boss, her co-workers. Like, they were starting fights over her. And when you see her, if I were to ever show you a picture, you're like, why are you fighting over that? Yeah. They eventually had to send her home because it's like, yeah, dude, we're fighting terrorists right now. I mean, we're not, but we wanted to. We can't be having guys having fist fights over your little Quebec piece of ass. Get out of here. Anyway, so they fight over this, and then that's the problem, is that the group, and then as soon as you get more women on it, it becomes a female social status fighting pit. And that's why you'll notice too, a lot of women, when you talk to them, they prefer male coworkers to female coworkers because they like it when it's simple. It's just me doing my job, surrounded by driven men, and all the attention is mine. Whether they capitalize on it or not doesn't matter. And a lot of guys like when there's a girl around because, generally speaking, girls tend to be more pleasant company than guys. They just are. It's because they smell nice and we want to fuck them. It's great. And yeah, and then when they find there's girls in there, now it becomes this catty place where everybody's fighting for jockeying for position. So nobody likes it. If anything, this is like a really good case to be made for strong gender segregated spaces. We obviously need co-ed spaces, but there needs to be a healthy balance between the three of them. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Everything is either co-ed, which transforms into female dominated. Will that go back? I don't know, be the change you want to see. It's the same as this. Do you want me to just sit here drinking my coffee, bitching about how women ruined all the spaces and then go back to my job tomorrow? Like, no. Be the change you want to see. And there's guys that are doing that. Like, there's a bunch of people. I don't know if I want to, give them notoriety here, but we've talked privately in that, and they're starting their own clubs. They're making their own differences in their community. They're doing things in politics or creative work and all that. And there's like a bunch of people that I reference here all the time that you see with their other personas that are doing great work. And I don't want to out anybody because last thing you want to do is be associated with the manosphere when you're successful in something mainstream, right?